he said it because of his wet blanket energy.
Unhinged. That's actually unhinged.
Hello and welcome to Sound Off in the Comments Below. That's our weekly segment where you guys submit the topics that we talk about. Hey, Jackie.
Hi, Stephanie.
How is it going?
It's going good. Holly wants to say hi too.
Oh, welcome, Holly.
Yeah, we have a special guest on the pod today. No, she was being so clingy when I was like sitting down to record, and I was like, all right, if you want to sit here, that's fine. But like, be professional, be good.
You know what's
She's
up,
doing
Holly.
good.
It's been 3 years. Get it
Yeah.
together. So we got a lot of really good submissions, but a lot of you guys want us to talk about a lot of the same things. So this is actually going to be, I think this will please everyone, except the one person that I got that wrote me and said, please don't talk about Blake and Justin, the Blake Lively and Justin
Oh no.
Baldoni stuff.
Well,
I'm
sorry to break
girl.
it to you.
But we're going to be talking
it.
about that in depth because probably 75% of my submissions were that case.
Yeah.
Before that, though, there has been some updates since like the Rachael Kirkconnell, Matt James saga. Have you seen the Clare Crawley response to the whole Matt thing?
And I thought that was like a nice, perfect time to add like a little shade to the situation.
A nice little throwback, too, because Matt James was originally cast on Claire's season, and then Claire's season was put on hiatus because of the pandemic. And that's the time where Matt like started a Cameo account. This is what I specifically remember back in 2020. Matt James, who was only famous because he was Tyler's best friend, started a Cameo account, and then he was listed as a cast member on Claire's season. And Claire caught wind that Matt started a Cameo account, and she made it known she didn't want him on her season because, like, obviously this guy is looking for something else if before you're even on the show, you're starting a Cameo account. Like, who wants a Cameo account from Tyler's best friend randomly?
I mean, so clearly, like, people did. I feel like it's just so crazy to think back. And it does add a lot of color, I think, to just, like, the type of person. Like, we're learning more about Matt. And I think it is very clear maybe how important image has been to him, like, this whole time.
So after Rachel's Call Her Daddy interview and everything went down, Claire took to her Instagram and wrote, catching up on social news and shaking my head at some of this stuff. Remembering that one time I specifically asked producers to please not allow one specific guy on my season because I knew for a fact that he was not looking for a serious relationship whatsoever, and I didn't want him to waste anyone's time. So instead, they made him the next Bachelor. Claire, she doesn't miss. She could spot shit from a mile away. I wrote her and I was like, girl, you dodged a bullet.
I mean, I could never see like Matt and Claire ever actually like connecting. They just seem like such different people anyway.
It's just crazy to think back. Like, I forgot that he was even connected to her in any way.
Totally.
And to know, because like he wasn't a cast member on the show, they plucked him. Also, like it is kind of funny that it's like the one guy that the lead is saying, don't put him on my season. I know he's not serious. They're like, here you go, have your own season. And turns out maybe you weren't really looking for a serious relationship. So good on you, Claire. Dodged a bullet. And that's that. That's that on that. Moving on. What do you got?
Well, do you want to tell me about the Blake and Justin stuff? Because like, I'll be honest, like I also got a lot of submissions about this. Ever since, when was the last time like it was like really a thing when we talked about it at the end of last year? Ever since then, I haven't thought about it. Honestly. And I know so much more has come out and things have changed.
Yeah.
But it's just so much that I simply can't keep up, but I know you have been keeping up. So like explain to me what is going on.
Well, someone wrote, I got a million submissions about this. Someone wrote, please say you're Team Blake. Just rest assured, guys. Wait, Team Blake? No, I'm not Team Blake. I'm pretty sure the majority is Team Justin, and I will explain the entire thing. I do know there are two sides to every story. There may be things that I am missing. This is not like, I was going to say the New York Times, but that's actually, they're involved in this. This is just She's All Batch. I'm just going to share what I have heard about the story and my take on things. Obviously, there may be things that I'm missing, but from what I gather, like I am 100% Team Justin. And I'm curious where you're at. So the part you're talking about is over the summer when This Is Us was coming out and Blake was promoting the film and saying, grab your florals, grab your girlies, and head on down to my movie. Also gonna spray my hair. And she just made it very much like a unserious thing for a movie that was very serious. So that sparked people digging up old clips of her being not so nice. And that's kind of when like her original reputation kind of went downhill.
Well, so now she's suing him for sexual assault, sexual harassment.
She's suing him for sexual harassment. He's hitting back and suing for defamation. He's also suing the New York Times because the New York Times released a slam piece based on her legal filing that accused him of orchestrating a smear campaign against her. Now, something I just learned today from a TikTok is that someone looked up the metadata of the images in the New York Times article, and metadata is basically just like, I mean, some technical word for what like the image was saved under. Like if you save an image on your computer and you save it as something, you can click on any image on a website and see what it was saved as, which I think the people at the New York Times are going to change the way they do it because they wrote whatever a keyword they wrote and then they wrote the date, and the dates of the images that they have saved, like Blake's lawsuit, whatever, December 16th, the lawsuit didn't come out until like December 22nd or 23rd. So they had planned, basically the story is Blake and Ryan may have fed the New York Times this story before she even filed because she didn't file until later. Shady number one. There's so much more than that though. So he is suing her for $400 million. It's against Lively and Reynolds, in which he accused the Hollywood pair of conspiring to trash his reputation with the allegations. He also accused Lively of hijacking the filming of It Ends With Us, which he directed, and claimed she forced him and his family to wait in a basement holding area at the premiere so she did not have to see him. Okay, so basically a lot of stuff has come out that she's very much forced her way into having more power on this set than she actually should. Have you heard about this like rooftop scene that she demanded
during the strike, and they rewrote it?
Oh, I didn't even realize it was during the strike.
It was during the writer's strike, and then they rewrote it, which just adds, I think, salt to the wound. Because I guess for people who don't know, there was like some rooftop scene in the movie, and I think Ryan Reynolds rewrote it. And there are a lot of instances where it seems that they were trying to have like more creative power in areas that like were just not their jurisdiction, right? Like he's the director and she's like making cuts and like deciding, you know, what takes to use or whatever, and trying to be overly involved in that. So I guess he rewrote the rooftop scene. And to add salt in the wound, this was like literally during a writer's strike. So no one should have been writing literally anything. Like any filming that was continuing to happen was supposed to be like on locked scripts. So it's just another like shady way that I think that they are kind of like above the rules and not in solidarity with like, you know, the writers who are protesting for like better wages and like being treated fairly. It's just not a great look when you're like in Hollywood and like you're one of the few people who have made such a great living off of the entertainment industry, and then you're just gonna like it kind of takes away from like what the writers were trying to do at that time. Too.
Totally. I didn't piece together it was during that time period. Yeah. So there's part of that that's even worse though. So Blake basically says to Justin, like, can I take a pass at this scene? It's an already written script, by the way. I do think, I mean, I don't really know how it works in Hollywood, but like you're the actor, show up and perform the scene. Like, why are you asking to rewrite a scene? And also apparently this scene is like the pivotal scene in the movie. I haven't seen the movie. I haven't read the book. Neither has Blake Lively. But
she didn't read the book?
Apparently not, according to his lawsuit. She said she didn't want to, allegedly.
Wait, I'm sorry. That's insane.
I know.
For her to not read a book because isn't she also a producer on this?
No, I don't think she's supposed to be. So she basically
I think she was a producer. No.
Right, like but not at first, Jackie. Not at first. Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
If it says she's a producer, I don't think it's that she started as a producer.
No, she had to. I think this was like from her production company. That's why I think there was such clashing between him as the director and her as the actor. But also, I'm pretty sure she produced that. Well, it does say produced by Blake Lively. She does have a producer credit. I guess unclear.
I don't know. Sound off in the comments below. Was she always a producer? Was she not? I don't know. Again, this is not your local news station. This is She's All About.
Yeah.
So, okay. So she says, like, can I take a pass at this rooftop scene? And he's like, I mean, yeah, I kind of like it the way it is. If you want to like take a pass at it, I'm happy to look at it. So she goes and takes a pass at it. He's like, yeah, I like it. We may be able to weave some of this into the actual script. I really like your passion. she gets mad that like, and this is all also the information I'm giving is receipts, like text messages that are in his lawsuit now. So she's unhappy that he didn't just say like, yes, I love it, like we can use it. He comments on her passion and she's like, it's like, I'm paraphrasing, unsettling that, you're commenting on my passion and not my creativity and my talent. I'm really proud of what I've done, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you come over to my penthouse and we'll have a brainstorming session on the scene? He shows up and basically is like bombarded by Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds, who figuratively back him into a corner and say, you need to take Blake's scene. This is the scene. I read this scene. The scene is so much better than the original. Take it, take it, take it. So he's like, he has 3 powerhouses in front of him. And no one really knew Justin Baldoni's name before this. Now he's like somewhat of a house. He's a household name in my house. And he wasn't prior. And he has Taylor Swift, easily one of the most powerful women in the world, telling him this. So he leaves, documented text messages. He says to Blake, like, hey, like, I really like your script. I would have liked it without Taylor and Ryan telling me that I should take it. Like, just letting you know, you didn't need to bring your friends and like corner me like that. She says her infamous text. Have you heard about this? She writes back and compares herself to a Game of Thrones character.
No, but I would love to hear which
this is
one.
like oh my gosh.
There's so much he said, she said. Okay, go ahead. I'll give my 2 cents after you finish, but I want to hear the Game of Thrones thing.
I stayed far away from this. Like, when we were on break, everyone was writing me like, oh my God, do a bonus episode on Blake and Justin. And I'm like, dude, I am not touching that. There's so much going on. And even right now telling you this, I'm like, there probably will be 10 more things that I'm leaving out.
Yeah,
so
I'm like, this is exhausting. And we weren't there. So it's like, we're never really going to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this is just the tip of the iceberg too.
Yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by Ollie, which is clean, fresh nutrition your dog needs in 5 different flavors that they will absolutely flip over. You guys don't need to be veterinary nutritionists to know that feeding your dog real whole foods with minimal processing is one of the best choices you can make for their health. A perfectly portioned, whole, fresh food diet has become proven to extend your pup's life by 2.5 years. And who doesn't want more time with their best friend? You guys have seen my dog Holly at times on the podcast. She is my whole entire world. I'm absolutely obsessed with her, and she's just been so good for me and for my mental health. Like, she really has changed my life, and I literally could start getting teared up thinking about the fact that like she's not going to be with me forever. And so when I think of ways that I can help her be healthier and live as long as possible, obviously, like, no questions asked, I'm going to do that. And that's why I'm making sure I'm feeding her Ollie food so that she is as healthy as possible. Give your pup a fresh start this new year by letting them taste test a personalized meal plan with Ollie. You can head to ollie.com/she'sallbatch. That's OLLIE.com/she'sallbatch and tell them all about your dog and use code She'sAllBatch to get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box. So if your dog is not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. So you might as well just try it out, guys. But I know your dog is going to love it. So that's Ollie, OLLIE.com/she'sallbatch and enter code She'sAllBatch to get 60% off your first box. Start your dog's new year off right with Ollie. Well, because I'm like, well, where's the sexual harassment? We need to get into that too.
We're gonna get
okay.
there.
Okay.
So he leaves the house. He says, like, I would have liked your script regardless. You are talented, trying to, like, I don't know, soften her up a little bit. She said, if you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi. And like her, I happen to have a few dragons. Acknowledging Taylor and Ryan, for better or worse, but usually better, because my dragons also protect those that I fight for. So we really all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise you.
I mean, so that's just like a very cringy text, but like,
and there's a million of them like that. Also, to me, it's low-key threatening. Like, I have these powerful dragons, and basically if you're on my side, you'll benefit from them too. But if you're not, you're going to feel the wrath of my dragons. Like, it just, the reason, there's a few reasons why I'm Team Justin in this, but the main reason is that I am so sick of Hollywood elite feeling like they can just push everyone around and get their way simply because they're Hollywood elite. And I think Blake is going to have a really hard time ever getting an acting job ever again unless she writes, directs, produces, and stars in the movie. Because I don't know what what logical person would hire her after seeing how difficult she is to work with. She doesn't seem like a pleasure to have in class. I'll put it that
No,
way.
of course not. But like, did we think she was before?
I was
I
indifferent. I
always kind
didn't
of got the
care.
ick from her and Ryan Reynolds. A lot of people have said this on TikTok that they are from like a generation of celebrity where they're used to having like a very polished, like media controlled image and have always like been putting up like a nice face. And now we're in an age where people really value like authenticity and vulnerability, and like these more established celebrities like don't really know how to navigate in that world, and they just want this like curated, polished, like la
Yeah.
la 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 la. But on the inside, like they're all actors. They're narcissistic, like
Yeah.
wanting to push their own projects and their own agenda type people.
It just makes me feel icky that like we've seen Blake and Ryan, who he comes into play as well, as this
Mhm.
like perfect, gorgeous cookie cutter. They're like such a beautiful family. And I just feel like a lot of crap goes on behind the scenes in
Of
Hollywood, as we
course.
obviously already know. I just
Yeah.
never think about it. And this lawsuit is just making me think about just how much crap goes on and how I think in this whole story, they see Justin as a nobody. It's almost like the popular kid versus the nerd. Like
Mhm.
Justin wasn't an established name. Blake Lively was Blake Lively. And I think that very much comes into play throughout this entire thing. So
Yeah.
also, okay, so I'm gonna get to the her lawsuit, but there is a theory which I totally subscribe to, that Blake caught feelings for Justin, and a lot of this tension between them is to kind of cover that up because Ryan is like insanely jealous over the potential that she caught feelings for this guy, which I think is going
Okay.
to come out. It's already starting to kind of come out. There's like text messages and I mean voice memos back and forth.
Mhm.
They were communicating very much like they were very, very close. And
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they're working on a very intimate thing
right.
together. I guess I'm just like, but where's the sexual harassment? She's
Okay, okay,
suing him for sexual harassment.
okay,
Where are
okay,
those receipts? Because like that's a
okay.
very serious thing. I don't want to like
Well,
overlook it.
of course, no. And that's why, like, I'm not, when I heard about that, obviously, I was like, wow, that's disgusting. I can't
Yeah.
believe we were so duped. This came out before Christmas. I remember thinking like, oh wow, like Justin Baldoni is going to have a bad holiday season. Justin's team hits back right in January saying we are going to absolutely destroy her, and they came with receipts. So Blake, I have a few examples. Blake said Justin would walk into her makeup trailer when she was undressed, but in so that's one of her things listed in her sexual harassment lawsuit, but a lot of what he has in his countersuit can debunk a lot of what she's saying, or at least provide reasoning for why things happened. He did go
Hmm.
into her trailer, but he provides receipts that she texted him and said, "Hey, I'm breastfeeding right now. Do you want to come over and run lines?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Copy. I'm finishing up lunch. I'll be there in a minute." So it's like you're saying he's walking into, and again, I don't know if this was a separate time. I don't know
Right.
what, but I will say that at least Justin's team's doing a good job at being able to provide reason for why
Yeah.
certain things happen. The most damning one, which went everywhere last week, is the 10-minute unedited footage that Justin's team released. So in Blake's lawsuit, she said that there is this scene, it's a slow motion scene and there's no audio that
Hmm.
she thought Justin's mic is on. Her mic was not on. And she said that he was really inappropriate during this 10-minute scene, that basically in the movie it's just them slow dancing, music's playing over, there's really not, it's just a what is it,
Hmm.
a montage of them
Yeah.
falling
Yeah.
in love. She said he was really inappropriate during that scene and was doing things off the cuff, out of character, saying things like at one point in the lawsuit, it says he came up to her neck, like sniffed up her neck and said, like, "Oh, you smell so good." Now that
Hmm.
he literally has the actual footage and it's 10 minutes of unedited footage. And what actually happens is like he goes up her neck because they're falling in love and he's being his whatever he's
Yeah. They're
supposed to be.
acting.
They're acting. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, am I getting my beard on you?" And she's like, "It's okay. I'm probably getting my spray tan on you." And he's like, "Well, it smells good." And that's
Hmm.
it. And everyone's like, "Wait, this is him being creepy?" So it's just her words and then his actual receipts. People are not fully buying that her words are carry as much weight as they once did when you just read the words. Because when he has that paired with it, pairing that with the fact that I think Ryan Reynolds is jealous of their entire relationship and the fact that she had to be so romantic with a guy that maybe he felt intimidated by, I think he could be pushing for this lawsuit to kind of drag Justin down. Because apparently Ryan started showing up on set every single day at some point during filming and demanding to see the dailies. Dailies are like just the whole like raw footage, unedited.
Yeah.
And there is I don't know like the legitimacy. I don't think this was in the lawsuit. I think this was a news story. But that one day he came in and asked to see the dailies, and then like shortly after, he and Blake were fighting in their trailer. I think he may have felt intimidated, he may have felt threatened or possessive or what, but then all of a sudden after that, he started showing up a lot. With the rooftop scene, it was positioned first that Blake was, oh, Blake really wants to write this scene. She's so talented. She's so passionate, blah, blah, blah. Blake apparently lets it slip on a red carpet when she says, oh yeah, and then my husband wrote this rooftop scene, and she says that. That is brought up in the lawsuit because then emails of Justin's team are like, wait, she's saying publicly that Ryan's writing the script. We didn't know that. And also, that's like not technically legal because he's not being paid. He's not in the credits. Why is she telling people on camera that he's writing it? So if you piece it all together, it's kind of like, is he trying to insert himself to ensure that like he can keep them apart?
The Ryan Reynolds of it all, I mean, he could have very well been feeling jealous and intimidated by them like working so closely together. I also think too, though, like him and Blake are like a brand and a team at the end of the day, right? Like anything she's working on, like he has his hands in. Anything he's working on, I'm assuming she also has her hands in. Right? Like their business is selling themselves as this like Hollywood celebrity unit. Like they are a brand. So it's not surprising to me that he would have so much creative say on this.
I think to say that like it's just allowed that Ryan can insert himself, show up on set and demand the dailies. If he was not Ryan Reynolds or someone with his level of power, they would look at him and be like, "Go fuck off."
No, for sure. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying like that doesn't surprise me. And I think in the entertainment industry, but in other industries, like business is not so like black and white, cut and dry, like we're working in personal life. Like so much of it is so intertwined. So it doesn't surprise me is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's good. Okay. And I can see why people are like Ryan Reynolds, get the fuck out of here. But like, of course they work together. Like they are a powerhouse, like multi-million-dollar brand. They work together. They are in business together, regardless of like whether they're technically working together. What I'm taking from all of this in general, it does seem like this sexual harassment lawsuit is in response to all of the bad PR and press that Blake was getting over the summer when we were talking about it. Like a lot was coming to light, just like smearing Blake, people realizing that maybe she's not such a nice person to work with. And I think this was like her last ditch effort to kind of save her reputation because, and it kind of annoys me because it's like sexual harassment is obviously something that's like very serious. And I don't like when people throw such a serious thing out there because they're like, oh, well, like now they're going to like take me seriously and get back on my side because I'm claiming sexual harassment. But when there's no sexual harassment seemingly there, it really dilutes when then people actually claim for sexual harassment when there's like an 100%. Actual problem. And I feel like she used this as a last ditch effort to kind of maybe get the public on her side because that is such a serious topic. And when people hear sexual harassment, they are inclined to want to believe the woman. But yeah, I'm not really seeing where the sexual harassment is. And given that she was getting such bad press leading up to this, of course, like it does seem like this was like her last ditch effort to get the public on her side, and people aren't having it.
Yeah. And just to the person who said, please say that you're Team Blake, just to let you know, I mean, and to confirm, we take sexual harassment extremely seriously. It's just what I've seen so far, I'm not seeing. It seems to be a more diluted version of what she's actually claiming. Like I think had Justin's mic not been on, there would be a completely different story, but his mic was on and captured their entire conversation, which after that footage came out, everyone freaked the hell out and were like, wait, are you kidding me? Obviously did not look good for her. However, Blake's team is trying to save face, and they're like, well, we like that footage came out. That totally corroborates our story. You could see how uncomfortable she is in that footage. And it's like, first of all, you guys are actors.
Yeah.
The scene is that you're falling in love. He has to be romantic with you. Like
Right.
if you are not comfortable with on camera someone being romantic with you in a scene where you're falling in love, like perhaps don't sign on for that film. But like
Yeah.
you are an actress and you should understand that he may be acting romantic with you. Now, not only did they say they liked the footage that came out, they then issued or requested, I used the wrong terminology on TikTok and a bunch of people wrote me about it. So I think they requested a gag order. And a gag order basically is saying that Justin's team cannot release any more of this type of stuff to the public, even though since then more stuff. I don't think the gag order was accepted or whatever the term is.
Yeah.
But my thought is like, if this 10-minute video looks so good for you and corroborates your case, why are you trying to request a gag order? Like, wouldn't you, if you knew that your case is 100% going to win, wouldn't you put your feet up and be like, go ahead? Release everything. We know that we're right. The only reason why you would issue a gag order is because you don't want people to see certain things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling Team Justin, I guess. I think you've convinced me. And I'm not surprised. I do like that I think people are starting to see through some of like these like very A-list Hollywood couples like presenting a certain image and then just like being evil snakes behind the scenes. Because at the end of the day, most of them are. I don't think you get to that level of fame and success without just like having your priorities like very out of whack, you know?
Yeah. And that's like the underlying issue for me. Just the power imbalance of like going back to like Rachel and Matt, but like the imbalance of power dynamics, and people in Hollywood thinking like, well, if I'm more popular than you, I can push you around and get my way. Even in the 10-minute scene, Blake is trying to direct Justin. Like, go watch it. It's on TMZ. You could probably find it anywhere at this point. But Blake is the actress. He's the director. He also owns the rights to the movie. He bought the rights of the book. It is literally his movie. And this man had to be in the basement during the premiere. Like, all this is such a popularity contest, and it really pisses me off. But in the 10-minute scene, the first thing she says is like, it's a really romantic setup. They're in a crowded place and they're slow dancing. And she's like, I don't know if the light's going to work with it behind us. And he's like, no, I want the light there. It's supposed to be like a shadowy effect. That's what I want. That's one. Then they're slow dancing and she's like, I feel like we should be talking. Like, I feel like it's more romantic if we're talking. Like, Ryan and I always talk and like blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay. And he's honestly taking her lead. Like, this man who is the director is being directed by the actress who should technically be answering to him. And just watching this whole thing unfold, I don't like the whole come over to my house and surprise you with Taylor Swift. I don't love the Taylor Swift of it all. I'm just saying, like, I think that from a Swiftie, I'd love to hear your take, because now the report is that she's going to distance herself.
I know it's supposed to be new year, new me. A lot of my friends are doing dry January, but I simply am not, because I'm still in some ways keeping on with my old routines. And that means I am continuing to go out and drink. And I honestly am able to do that and don't feel that I really need to take a break from alcohol, because I religiously drink Liquid IV after a night out. I really think it is the ultimate way to curb a hangover and make sure you're staying hydrated and ready to go. So you wake up the next morning feeling refreshed and ready to go. And so I don't really feel like my partying or going out really slows me down at all, to be quite honest with you. Break the mold and own your ritual, guys. You just gotta live and do your own thing. With just one stick of 16 ounces of water, it will hydrate you better than just water alone. It is powered by LIV Hydroscience, which is an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. With Liquid IV, you get 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink. They have 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, and it is always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So embrace your ritual with extraordinary hydration from Liquid IV. You guys can get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com betterhelp.com and use code She'sAllBatch at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code She'sAllBatch at liquidiv.com.
That feels so fucking calculated then.
It is. No, but like it is calculated. I can
of Taylor.
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Taylor Swift is $1 billion business.
I thought you were going to say a bitch.
No. I think I can like Taylor's music and enjoy going to her concerts and enjoy consuming her media while also acknowledging she is $1 billion business and incredibly image focused and calculated and probably not a good person. All of those things are true at the same time, guys. Like It's nuanced. Like I think so many people just like drink the Kool-Aid and do not have an understanding of like how the entertainment industry works. And I do think the Matt and Rachel thing is, of course, on a smaller scale, parallel to a lot of these things we're talking about here, right? Like, you know, we were saying, oh, Matt and Rachel seemed like this happy, like dream couple, right? They just like they're best friends and they go and they eat at all these restaurants and they just have such a great time, la-di-da. And then we're hearing behind the scenes, Rachel is like crying over the pressure to pick a good restaurant for Matt's content. And then they sit down and they're so focused on like getting the shots. It's like, are they really even having a good time together? But we're consuming it. And then you said something similar that kind of like made a little light bulb go off in my head that you were like, oh yeah, Blake and Ryan always seemed like this dream couple in this dream life Hollywood. And I'm like, no, they are a business. They are business partners. They are selling us that image and that brand. And like, that's what it is. And Taylor Swift is the same way. I am a Swiftie. I went to the Eras tour twice. I like her music. I enjoy listening to it, but like she's selling that to me. Like she is $1 billion business woman. I would believe anything she does is calculated
on purpose.
Even with the Travis stuff, like it's all, they are selling us a vibe, an image, a product. And I'm happy to consume it. I like to have fun. I like to have entertainment, but like that is what it is. It's like so
sick. Normal and level-headed, and I don't know if the internet is ready for that.
Okay, well,
like,
guys, get ready for it.
Get ready for it.
I don't know.
You're not hating on her, but you're
no, I know, but like I think I obviously in a very much smaller scale go work in the entertainment industry after this too, and like go into 30 Rock and see a lot of this stuff be curated and made for the public. So. I don't know. I think a lot of people don't think about it, right? Because everyone's like living their lives and they work in different industries and like
everyone is entitled to their own opinion. It is not up to us. It is up to the court because there is a trial date set in March. And I believe it's going to be like a Johnny Depp Amber Heard.
Wow.
I did not watch
exciting.
I think so. It says the trial date's set. How do you know if it's going to be like filmed and shared? Like, how do we know that?
There's no way to know.
There's no way to know. Okay. But I believe it is. I think it will be given how. Okay. I don't know, like who decides.
Yeah. Wait. Why are trials filmed? Like, I know obviously they are, right? Like people watch the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing. People like the only other trial I can think of that was like obviously filmed and everyone was watching was like the OJ trial. But like, why are some trials filmed and some aren't?
And but what channel? Like, where do you get it? I didn't watch any of the Johnny Depp.
What
we
channel?
Should ask Dave Neal. I'll text Dave while we're doing this.
I guess the idea though is right. Like, I think actually technically any trial is open to the public, right? Like you can walk into any courthouse and like watch any trial. I do think that's
right. Do you want to
true.
go? Well, it's probably going to be in LA. I would go.
Or New York. They live here.
If it's in New York, I'm going.
Are you?
Well, there's probably going to be a line. I'll sleep at your house. There's probably going to be a line.
I don't know where they would have it. Because where did they film this movie?
There's no way to know.
There's no way to know. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I know, I'm pretty sure they live, like, why do I think, I'm pretty sure like Blake and Ryan live like down the street in the Greenwich building. Yeah.
Well, I don't like
that everyone
them.
lives in.
I don't like them. I didn't love what I saw when the stuff was coming out about Blake over the summer, but I can also acknowledge then too. I think that stuff was cherry picked. I think there were purposely clips of her not looking so great being shared on the internet. And no one's sharing, I'm sure, her being super nice to people, you know, like it could go both ways. Yeah. So at the time, I'm like, I didn't like what I saw, but I didn't care. And I acknowledge the fact that everyone has bad moments. I think the way she treated that interviewer, there's no way to spin it. You were just a full blown.
I know she has had some bad moments of just like really. I don't know how you could act that way. Like, I don't care what type of day you're having personally. Like, someone can be in the worst mood. Like, you should never really treat someone the way that she has treated
And
that
that's on
interviewer.
camera. That's
I know.
on camera. Like, and I was like, because I knew you didn't know this story that much. I was I'm like, oh shit. Like, I wanted to brush up because I did go down a rabbit hole, but I went down a rabbit hole like a week ago. So last night I was like watching old YouTube video recaps just to make sure like I had the information right. And I hope I got most of it right. But someone played the clip again. And in the beginning of the interview, they were like, yeah, did you watch the movie? Like, I think it was even the girl that she was with, Blake, in that interview. Why would that be the first thing you say to the interviewer? Like, so condescending. Like,
Yeah, it's rude.
you're about to interview us on this movie. Did you watch it? Like, yes, girl, I did. Thank you. That's
Right,
my
like, I
whole
prepared
job
for
is to
my
watch
job.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just like, and they just talk to each other. It's kind of like the Justin Baldoni thing. Like, you are just an interviewer. You're below us. We are actresses in a movie. We are more powerful than you. We do not have to give you that respect.
Meanwhile, she didn't even read the book of the movie that she made. That's mind blowing to me. I'm like, that can't possibly be true. How could she not read it?
I mean,
that's insane. But if it's out there, maybe it is true. I don't know.
I do think though anything technically in either of their lawsuits is not like technical fact until the end. So like he could say that Blake said, I don't want to read the book, but like that doesn't mean Blake Lively didn't read the book.
I Justin finally watched this movie. We've talked about it so much. I might as well just watch it.
Yeah, it's that he says it in the lawsuit. So I mean, that's enough for me right now that like apparently she said she didn't want it to like change her vision of Lily, the character she was playing, but it's like, shouldn't you know more about like also you want to write the pivotal scene of the movie and you didn't even read how that scene panned out in the book.
Right. No, I think she should have read the book.
But I think it was insane. Ryan that rewrote the scene. I think it's Ryan dipping his hands in and trying to be controlling because he's Ryan Reynolds and you shouldn't be able to tell him no. Real quick before we move on, like just to go back to the Taylor Swift thing, like it does bother me if the reports are true. It is just speculation at this point, but she wants to keep her distance. Yeah. If Blake's side is the right side and she's going to be, proven right and Justin's going to have to pay whatever he has to pay, why wouldn't you stick by your friend? Just because she's being painted in a negative light? Like, why wouldn't you be there publicly for your friend when she needs you? Because
they're bad people and they're all image obsessed. And like, I'd be really curious to see how this plays out. Cause like up until this point, like Taylor and Blake have been like best friends and they've been seen in public a lot together. Blake was going to like all of Travis's games with her. I saw them when I went to that one football game. They were there in the box above us. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, Taylor, Hugh Jackman. It was like a crew up in that box. So I'm curious to see if she will start to distance. But yeah, I mean, again, because maybe that's not that strong of a friendship. And it is rooted in the fact that it's mutually beneficial to both of them to be seen together and associated together for their whole lives or their careers. Like these people are crazy.
I think if I had a friend that was going through something crazy publicly and everyone was turning against her, to not stand by her side shows what kind of friend you are.
Of course. I agree. As a Swiftie, I agree with what you're saying.
Can't wait for all the mean comments we're going to get.
Will we? I don't know. What are they going to say? Like, I should ride or die for Taylor Swift, this woman I literally don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
let's move on to another topic.
Yeah.
That was a lengthy
lot of
one.
people. Okay. Well, I do want to say a lot of people put in Traitors, but it's really hard for us to talk about Traitors because we record this Thursday mornings and then the new episode of Traitors comes out Thursday nights and then this comes out Friday mornings. So like,
this comes out Friday.
So like we can talk about it, but we won't have the most up-to-date information. But I've been loving Traitors, guys, and it's like my favorite show.
Wait, can I tell them? Jackie works for Peacock.
Yeah.
Well, can I not tell them?
What are you going to tell them about
I was going to the
screeners.
Jackie works for Peacock, and I was like, can't we just like get screeners? But then Jackie didn't want to get screeners.
Not that I don't want to. It's no. I will say this. Traitors is obviously like very important to Peacock and NBC. It's like their biggest show. And so like to get screeners for work purposes, I would have to like make a whole case as to why I need it for work and then like sign an NDA. And if I was like doing that to then like sneakily use it for my business outside of my job, I just feel like I would maybe get in trouble.
You don't
So I'm not
need
going
to
do
know
that.
it
For the
sure.
record, for everyone on Peacock watching, I'm not doing that. I'm not breaking the rules. So it's fine. We can leave all this
couldn't
in.
you watch? Yeah. Couldn't you get the screener for your actual work purpose? Like,
but I don't really need
like,
it for my actual work purpose.
But like, I don't know if anyone will really care. But I hear you, and I'm not gonna. I didn't
to sign
the
NDA scared me.
The NDA is just don't tell people what happened in the episode.
Right. And then I'm going to go on my podcast and tell people what happened in the episode.
And it's going to air after it's already out. And it's fair game. And had you woke up that morning at 7 a.m, you could have done the same exact thing. All it's doing is just saving us time. Us Weekly, and I'm sure a ton of other media had an NDA or an embargo for the Call Her Daddy thing, because I Googled Rachel's name while the episode was airing, and they had quotes in their article that wasn't said
so they
yet.
Got it ahead of time.
So they got it ahead of time, had the article prepped, and I don't think they should have been able to publish it until it was over, technically.
Yeah.
Because they literally had quotes that she didn't say yet. But I think we could get the screeners, but it's not my job. That's all I'll say. Sound off in the comments below if you think we should get the screeners.
Okay. You guys let me know what you think. But I think I'm on thin ice, so I need to be careful.
We are also promoting Peacock. So
yeah, no, I know. Let's talk about Traitors. I mean, I have been loving this season. I think it's a really fun cast. I've been loving watching Gabby. She almost got murdered last week, and I was so nervous, but I hope she like stays on for a long period of time.
Yeah, I'm nervous for her too. Who's your, just one name, who's your favorite person? Because I have a very, very favorite person, and I'm curious.
Favorite to watch, or a person who I think is actually playing the game very well?
Mine is both. My favorite person to watch is playing the game well.
Who are you going to say? Boston Rob?
Yeah. Oh, wait, yours is Caroline, right? Or
Caroline, yeah. Well, because I think she is going under the radar really well and has potential to like go
kooky
far. Yeah, but that's what she's doing it on purpose, because she's like, oh, I miss my dogs, and then she's like secretly a traitor. I think she's being brilliant.
I love
let's talk about Boston Rob, because that episode where he turned on Bob the drag queen was like of the best television I've watched. I was like sitting alone by myself in my apartment, like squealing at that round table. Wait, I also had a crush too. I was like, wait, all of a sudden, why am I finding Boston Rob so hot in this round
you want to
table?
know why?
The way he takes out Bob the drag queen.
It's not even that he's hot. I saw a TikTok they're like, oh, Boston Rob during his Survivor days when he's younger. I was like, wait, he's so freaking cute. And now I can see the younger version in him now. And now I like fully have a crush. I'm nervous that Boston Rob, people are onto him, and he's going to have to do some serious manipulating in order to get around it. I really hope, because this comes out on Friday, like, please, I don't want him to be gone by the time this episode comes out.
Which, like, low-key, he might be. I do think his days are numbered. Like, Wes is obviously onto him. I think he went too hard for Bob. I think the better play, which I think is what he was trying to do, but then Zac Efron's brother, who's it, Dylan, wouldn't, like, bite.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, Dylan, I did not know that.
That's Zac Efron's brother. That's why I remember when he was like, yeah, I grew, like, Bob is an amazing actor, blah, blah, blah. I grew up with an actor. And he goes, not a good one. He's saying Zac Efron is his brother.
I had no clue who they were even referring to. I didn't even know who Dylan was. Well, who's he? Is he just there as Zac's brother?
Because he was on some reality show about, like, with Zac Efron, about like a documentary.
And is Sam just there as Brittany's ex?
Yeah.
That's not fair. You should have to be a reality star. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're putting anyone on, I guess. But I think I think the stronger play for Boston Rob would have been to, like, behind the scenes manipulating other people to go for Bob. But, like, Dylan wasn't biting. Dylan had to be the one to throw out the first, like, grenade, and then maybe Bob could have, like, gotten the table to rally, but Dylan didn't. So then Bob had to really go Rob, sorry, I get confused with Rob and Bob. Rob had to go so hard for Bob.
Right.
But I think it kind of exposed him. And now Wes is totally onto him, but is going to have to be strategic of when he like attacks Rob, because you can only go a shot for that once, right? Like if he doesn't have the votes to take Rob out, then he's going to be out next. So he has to like strategically wait for the right time to rally the troops and get enough people to see Rob for who he is. But he's on to him. So like his days are numbered.
I did like how when Boston Rob was going for Bob, he's like, look, if I'm not right, come for me next. Like send me home next. Like so that he was trying to make himself look like a faithful, but then right after, once Wes said, how does someone know 100% that someone's a traitor?
Yeah.
If you were a traitor yourself, I was like,
wait, and you know how I am kind of living for the fact that like half of these people are like professional game players and are like really good at this and like know what they're doing. And half of these people are just like on Bravo reality shows and don't know. Like watching Tom Sandoval be like, oh my God, so stupid and mind blown with every single thing. Yeah. Well, because the way in that conversation, he's like, wow, Rob is brilliant. Like everything he says, how did he know that? I'm just going to go with what he says. And then Wes is like, well, you know, how do you know someone's 100% a traitor? And Sandoval's like, that's just it. He just knows because he's that good. And Wes is like, no, you know because you're a traitor. Like, this is the game, dude. And Tom Sandoval's mind is like blown. I'm like, do you know what you signed up for? He doesn't, but it's just so funny
he doesn't know what show he's on. He thinks he's on Survivor. When they close their eyes and then they choose the traitors and they open their eyes, Tom's like, I was the first one to open my eyes and I looked at every single person and I got every single thing. I have actually, we need to talk about my ongoing issues with the show though.
Okay.
And it is that the people that are like, why do I automatically want to say
putting
Gabby's voice?
Like,
yeah. I've been watching her for a while and I think they're a traitor because they've been changing their behavior. Like, I don't think in the first few episodes there is any context to decide whether or not someone's a traitor. I think people pluck things out of thin air, and there are too few traitors to like actually, it bothers me the first few episodes. Like, I think there should actually be some other layer to the game because you're literally like, I saw someone and they looked weird, but like, what if that person's just like awkward? Or what if that person is just, I don't know, has to go to the bathroom and they're on their way to the bathroom and like, I saw them walking fast and I don't know where they were going. It's just the reasons that you come up with for why someone's a traitor. And then I also kind of cringe every time when they get it wrong and they're like, I'm a faithful. And they're like, oh my God. They act like it's the end of the fucking world. It's like, well, guess what? Nothing happens. You sent home a faithful and nothing happens. I saw a TikTok that said there should be other like layers and rules to the game that if you send home a faithful, you get like, what is it? Like if you send home a faithful and you're the one that voted for that person, you are automatically in the running. Yeah, you're in the running for getting eliminated. And then the people that didn't vote for that faithful, they're safe. Like there has to be more incentive for getting it right because they're just like, well, at the competition, you know, you sneezed and I don't think a faithful would sneeze. Oh, wait, and then one more thing, like my favorite, least favorite thing is when they're like, I really trust her. She's a faithful. She told me she's a faithful and I trust her. Like, well, guess what? No one in the history of this show who's been a traitor has ever said, I'm a traitor. Like, you're not going to say you're a traitor. So why does if I was on the show, I wouldn't trust anyone. If you were on the show with me and you told me you were a faithful, I would still think that you could possibly be a traitor because you're not going to be like, yo, I'm actually a traitor. Don't tell anyone. So how does anyone trust anyone?
No, agreed. I think it was Tony after he got sent home. He, in some like confessional or some like bonus scene or something, did say like there does need to be, to your point, like there needs to be some sort of punishment or incentive to like actually knock out traitors, not also faithfuls, because like the objective of the game is really to knock out both, right? Like you want to whittle down all the people until it's just like you standing there to win all of the money. So yeah, there's really like especially in the beginning there, whether they send home a traitor or a faithful, it's like kind of the same because you're just trying to send home everyone. Yeah.
Right. So that needs to change.
That does need to change. And I do think maybe like they could do that where like the challenges have it's less about like these stupid physical challenges to collect money. It's like just keep giving them, make there be a prize pot of money. Who cares? And the challenges should be like clues or something to show like who is a traitor or not, because otherwise, they're just going off of random, like, oh, they sneezed this way or they walked funny or whatever. And then it's just a numbers game to like send people home.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of that. That's a bit of like a plot hole.
The challenge where you had to like break the jar and if the dust is gold, you're right. That is the only challenge in Traitors history that I did not fast forward because I was like, all right, let me see what this challenge is. I'm like, oh, this actually sounds kind of interesting. Finally, it had something to do with like you could pick up clues because I think the girl, who's the girl that's the traitor that was making it, Danielle, was making it so obvious that she was a traitor and her name was not brought up once. And I'm like,
I know, I didn't understand that.
In a challenge, she makes it very clear she's a traitor and no one picks up on it. And I'm like, I found that interesting. But like stupid too, because like how you guys are literally looking at people that are sneezing, but you're not looking at the girl who's not trying to save herself twice in a challenge.
I wonder if conversations were had about that at the round table and they just cut it out for time because who did they end up sending home? Oh, Nikki, like unanimously.
Was it literally every single person?
No, it wasn't every single, but it was most. So I wonder, because I also sometimes knowing like coming from like Bachelor world of always looking at the editing. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, the editing on this is choppy and a little sloppy at times. Like I don't think always what they say at the round table is what was actually said.
Yeah. Also lame. This is a spoiler, so skip, but like so lame that Wells went home so early.
Oh, like, he deserved that. I didn't even think he should be on that show. I didn't want to watch him.
Well, I think it was random he was on the show, but the casting's good now that I've gotten to know people. I love Boston Rob. I didn't know him before. But at first glance, I'm like, I know like 3 people. They really need to like diversify with the shows they choose from. I think there should be more Bachelor people, Dancing with the Stars people, or like Dance Moms people, like Christy from Dance Moms. Like there's so many people from other parts and they keep pulling from the same shows that I don't watch. Like I don't watch
But maybe
Survivor,
you just need to watch more of those shows.
I think
like
they need
the
to
Bravo
spread it out.
shows, the Housewives. You really need to get into Housewives. I don't even watch that many Housewives, but that's like such a good one. You would like it, I think.
We'll get there. I mean, more Vanderpump Rules. I mean, this is the first season that they pulled someone from Vanderpump Rules. Why not pull 2 people? Why not pull people who like notoriously feuded in the past on a show? Like I think they could just be doing more with casting.
Yeah,
also,
I think they do
Courtney
that with the Survivor people. I know Courtney was talking about that. I would love to have Courtney be on Traitors. That would be amazing. I think they do that with the Survivor people. Like there's some rivalries on there. I just don't watch Survivor, so I don't know all like the tea. But I think Parvati and Sandra from last season were like rivals from Survivor. I think everyone tells me when I tell them how much I love Traitors that I should watch Survivor, that I would really like that.
But they eat like
Why
worms.
do you say ew?
Because they eat worms.
Yeah, but it's similar, I think, in like the gaming and like psychological manipulation aspect because they're all like making alliances and like voting each other off. Like that's the whole point of Survivor, I think.
I didn't know there was voting. I don't know if I'm going to be okay if Boston Rob goes home though.
Well, he's not going to win. He's going to go home, I think, in the next 3 episodes.
I think he and Wes should just make an alliance.
But how would they make an alliance?
I don't know.
Wes
it's
is on to
BS.
him.
Get him off of him. I think it's BS that if they get all the traitors out or if the traitors start running low, they just
recruit.
They make it. Like, how is that even fair legally in a game show with money? Like, if the team is technically winning, you can just make up new traitors. Like, so you're setting it up so that it's almost impossible to win. Almost impossible. I'm pretty sure Faithful's have won in the past, didn't?
Well, last time it was Trishelle and CT. They were both faithfuls and they won.
Yeah.
They got all the traitors
And the
out.
Ari season, the girl that screwed him over, I think was, oh no, she was a traitor.
She was a traitor, and she won.
That was a good one. That was
so good. So I guess it's the thing. That's the thing is, it's like they're obviously making a show, but that does sometimes annoy me that it's like they're just making up the rules as they go along. Like the fact that like they sometimes recruit, and like when they recruited Peter last time, he could turn it down, but then they were too low on traitors when they recruited Kate, that she had the ultimatum that she had to become a traitor, even though she didn't want to. And she was like, fine, I guess. Like,
yeah. But in my interviews with Michael Stagliano, he said that on Bachelor Pad, when one time someone like twisted a rule that no one ever discussed, Chris Bukowski went into the voting booth with someone else. And that was never brought up before, because you're supposed to just take their word that they voted for someone. He went into the voting room and they had to stop filming and they had to bring a lawyer on set. And they were like, whoa, like, what's going on here? Is this in the rules? Can we do this? And it was a massive thing. So like, I don't get how traitors can just make up rules given the fact that it's a game show. And if someone wins money at the end, there needs to be some type of legality around what's going on. It's just a free for all.
I'm sure there is. Like, I don't know what type of contract they're like signing, or what, you know, what the official like rules of the game are.
By the time you guys are watching or listening to this, I will be watching the new episode of Traitors, and we'll talk about that episode next week.
Yeah, it's such a fun show. It's just, and I love that it's just like so campy and silly, and like Alan Cumming is so funny in it. Like I love it.
Plug Peacock. Let us watch the screeners.
I know, seriously.
Speaking of screeners, if you guys want to go spam ABC and just tell them that they have to give us the screeners, I applied.
Yeah.
I literally applied for screeners, even though, because I've like directly emailed them before and they're just like, hi, Stefanie. No. Peace and love, ABC. And I'm like, okay. So I literally went to the website because I'm like, maybe the person that manages the website like won't pay attention.
Right.
But you have to write like who you are and why you want the screeners. And I'm like, she's all batch. And I had to be honest.
What if we said
I don't think
we're like
lie.
From a different podcast? We're like, yeah, we're from the Vile Files. Give us the screeners.
They'll be like, you already have them.
Send the screener to she's all batch at gmail.com.
Yeah. You know, I don't know, but
I don't know.
I do think it's such BS, especially since a lot of you, Danny, Danny, sorry, you're not even watching the show anymore, but a lot of you are watching the show solely to keep up with the pod. And I think that's money in ABC's pocket that we're putting in there. I think that warrants us getting screeners, and it's BS.
Agreed.
All right. Well, I think those are all the topics we have time for today. We had lengthy topics, so we only actually got to 3. Usually we get to more, but save your other topics for next week, and we'll see you on Tuesday for episode 2 of Grant Season's recap.
Yeah.
Is that it, Jackie?
I think that's it.
Goodbye, bitches.